The film begins on a chilly Christmas morning in a snowy kingdom. Inside a brothel, Essel douses Gawain with a bucket of cold water to wake him up. Startled, he realizes he's overslept and quickly bolts out. He has to prepare for a grand Christmas feast hosted by his uncle, the king. When Gawain reaches the castle, he lies to his mother, claiming he spent the night at church. She's skeptical and clearly doesn't buy it. After he departs, she gathers her maidservants, blindfolds herself, and initiates a mysterious ritual. She pens a letter sealed with green wax. At the banquet, the king invites Gawain to sit by his side, proud of his nephew. He asks Gawain to share tales of his adventures, but Gawain has none to offer. The queen assures him that in time he'll have stories of his own, once he earns his place among the legendary knights. As the king delivers his holiday speech, Gawain's mother burns the letter, and its ashes give life to a green sprout. Suddenly, the hall is disrupted by the arrival of a towering tree-like figure, the Green Knight. He holds a letter with a green seal, and when the queen opens it, she becomes possessed, reading its contents in the Green Meg's voice. The knight proposes a Christmas game. Any warrior may attempt to strike him, and if they succeed, they'll win his axe. But 1 year later, the challenger must find him at the Green Chapel to receive an equal blow in return. After the queen collapses from the strain, the king, too old to accept, offers the challenge to his knights. Gawain eagerly steps forward. Lacking a weapon, he's given the king's own sword, with a reminder, it's just a game. Gawain prepares to fight, but the Green Knight simply kneels and offers his neck. Gawain decapitates him with one stroke. To everyone's shock, the knight calmly picks up his severed head and rides off, reminding Gawain to seek him out in 1 year. The hall falls in a stunned silence, then erupts in celebration. Gawain returns the sword and stores the axe away. Months later, children perform a puppet play about Gawain's supposed triumph, but the tale ends grimly. Gawain, now infamous, is teased by Essel about being a local legend. He dislikes the attention but still agrees to sit for a bright formal portrait. That night in a tavern, drunkards gossip not just about the Green Knight, but about Gawain's mother, accusing her of witchcraft. Gawain responds with violence. Returning home, he finds the king waiting with his mother. The king gently reminds him that Christmas approaches. Though Gawain insists it was only a game, the king insists his task is unfinished. As the first snow of the season falls, preparations for Gawain's journey begin. The royal couple bless his shield at church. The axe is retrieved, and his mother crafts a green sash infused with a hidden rune. Essel pleads with Gawain not to go, but he explains he must keep his word. Before his departure, his mother hands him the girdle, telling him to wear it always. It will protect him from harm. Gawain sets out alone, camping under the stars. The next day, he reaches a crossroads and chooses a path at random. While wandering the forest, he spots a fox and a corpse slumped against a tree. Soon, he stumbles onto a battlefield littered with debris. There, he meets a young scavenger searching for his brother's remains. When Gawain mentions the Green Chapel, the boy offers directions for a price. Gawain flips him a coin. Following the boy's directions, Gawain is ambushed by thieves in the woods. They bind him and present him to the same scavenger, revealing the directions were a ruse. They steal his gear and his protective girdle. The scavenger even smashes Gawain's shield before discovering the axe and leaving with it. Gawain has a vision of his own skeletal remains left behind. Refusing to die helplessly, he painfully wriggles free using his sword to cut his bindings and injures himself in the process. Regaining some belongings, he escapes into the forest and eventually finds an eerie lake near an abandoned house. Inside, he lies on a bed and is startled awake by a ghostly figure named Winifred. She floats rather than walks and tells Gawain she was murdered by a lord who tried to force himself on her. Her head now rests at the bottom of the lake and she begs him to retrieve it. When Gawain asks what he'll get in return, Winifred is confused. Why expect a reward for doing the right thing? Gawain dives into the lake, hears haunting voices, and sees the water turn red. He retrieves the skull and surfaces. Winifred has vanished, but the fox is there again, seemingly watching over him. Back in the bedroom, he finds her skeleton on the bed, and when he places the skull near it, it briefly transforms into a real head. She cryptically tells Gawain that he already knows the Green Knight before the head becomes a skull again. At dawn, Gawain finds the axe waiting for him in the room. He continues his journey on foot, the fox now his companion. They rest in a cave, and Gawain allows the fox to join him inside. The next morning, they travel together. At one point, Gawain tumbles down a hill and nearly loses the bell Essel gave him. Starving, he eats wild mushrooms, only to vomit and hallucinate moss growing on his hand. He hears distant thunder and spots a strange figure watching him. The following day, the ground rumbles as a procession of giants emerges over the hills. Gawain runs toward them, asking for help, but when one tries to lift him, the fox growls defensively. The giants let out a piercing cry and continue on their way, leaving Gawain and the fox to find a new path. Exhausted and defeated, Gawain collapses. The fox finds a nearby castle, giving him hope. Gawain stumbles to the gates before passing out. When he wakes up, he's in a warm bed, attended by the castle's lord, an admirer of Gawain's story. It's still December 21st, giving him time to recover. The lord introduces his blindfolded mother and his wife, who look strikingly like Essel. Gawain is visibly shaken. She invites him to stay, but he declines, saying he must reach the Green Chapel soon. The lord informs him it's only a few hours away, so Gawain agrees to rest a few days. As he explores the castle, Gawain finds paintings of the fox and learns the lady is well-read and has even authored books. She offers him a gift and asks for a kiss, which he places on her cheek. Later, she paints his portrait using a trick of the light, capturing him upside down. Noticing the bell he wears, she inquires about it. When he denies it has meaning, she breaks its string and takes it. The lord returns from hunting and gifts Gawain the game he caught, then makes an offer. Whatever Gawain receives during his stay, he must trade it in return for the lord's daily hunt. Gawain is confused, but the lord assures him the castle has its own logic. As discussions about nature and the Green Knight continue, Gawain confesses he seeks honor, enough to earn his place among knights. That night, the blindfolded mother silently visits his room, gently touching his face and chest before leaving, offering no explanation. The following morning, Gawain wakes to find the lady quietly watching him sleep. She asks if he believes in magic. Without waiting for a response, she reveals she has the green girdle, and she knows it possesses a magical enchantment that grants protection to whoever wears it. With a flirtatious smile, the lady climbs into bed with him, teasing and tempting him further. As things become more intimate, she urges him to take the girdle from her. Gawain gives in to her advances, and she helps him reach a climax, leaving the girdle in his possession. As she gets up, she leaves a parting jab, pointing to the evidence of their encounter and remarking that he's hardly the chivalrous knight he claims to be. Stunned and ashamed, Gawain is even more horrified when he realizes the lady's mother has been silently watching from the doorway the entire time. Fed up with the strange and twisted games within the castle walls, he decides it's time to leave. Outside in the woods, he runs into the lord once again. The lord, ever observant, immediately notices Gawain has received something during his stay and insists on claiming his due. With a sly grin, he kisses Gawain, claiming the gesture is to balance out what Gawain took from the lady. Gawain resists, rushing off his hand and declaring he's leaving. The lord, unfazed, opens his satchel to show off his latest prize, a fox, still very much alive. Gawain is relieved and grateful. Hours pass as Gawain and the fox continue on foot through the forest until they reach a stream shrouded in orange mist. A solitary boat waits at the water's edge. As Gawain moves toward it, the fox growls and blocks his path. Confused, Gawain demands to know what's wrong, only for the fox to shock him by speaking. The creature warns him that no good will come from continuing on this path, urging him to return home before it's too late. Gawain, furious at what he sees as cowardice, swings his axe in frustration, scaring the fox away. Alone, he boards the boat and lets the current carry him downstream. Eventually, the stream leads him to a shore marked by a simple cross. He disembarks and walks a short distance before finding the Green Chapel. Inside, the Green Knight sits motionless as if asleep at the altar. Gawain sets down his axe and waits in silence. When Christmas morning arrives, the Green Knight finally awakens. He picks up his massive axe and reminds Gawain that it's time to fulfill their pact. Gawain must now receive a blow equal to the one he gave a year ago. Kneeling as instructed, Gawain braces himself, but when the axe is raised, fear overtakes him and he flinches. The knight mocks him for being unprepared despite having had a full year to accept this moment. Gawain steadies himself and insists the knight try again. Once more, the knight lifts the axe, and once more, Gawain flinches and dodges the strike. Frustrated, he asks if this game is truly all there is. When the knight confirms it, Gawain kneels again, but still pulls away at the last second. Unable to face his fate, he flees the chapel. Racing through the forest, he miraculously finds his horse waiting. He rides back to the city, where his mother quickly tends to his wounds. Later, he visits Essel, who sadly notices her bell necklace is gone. They share a passionate moment, but Gawain keeps the green girdle on the entire time. Days pass, and Gawain is summoned to the castle. The king, now on his deathbed, knights Gawain and presents him with his sword. After the king's death, Gawain assumes the throne, just as his mother always intended. In the months that follow, Essel gives birth to Gawain's son, yet he never marries her. He simply arrives at the brothel to take the child, leaves her some money, and walks away indifferent to the heartbreak he leaves behind. A year later, Gawain marries a noblewoman, but on their wedding night, he still refuses to remove the girdle. Though he fulfills his duty, the experience feels hollow compared to what he shared with Essel. Years pass. The kingdom is dragged into war. Gawain begins to train his son in the ways of knighthood, but just as the boy comes of age, he dies in battle. The kingdom begins to turn on Gawain. Once praised, he's now despised, pelted with stones, his name whispered with contempt. Essel, devastated by the loss of their child, resents him even more. Although the queen eventually bears another heir, it doesn't repair the damage. Eventually, the kingdom falls under siege. Everyone deserts Gawain, his people, his wife, even his mother. Alone in the castle with only a crook painting watching him, he finally removes the green girdle, the magical charm he's never dared to take off. As it slips from his body, his head falls from his shoulders and the crown rolls away. Then, he blinks. He's back in the chapel. Everything he just experienced was only a vision, an illusion of the life he would lead if he chose to run. This time, Gawain removes the girdle on his own and faces the knight without protection. He declares that now he's truly ready. Moved, the Green Knight gently strokes Gawain's cheek and praises him for his courage and integrity. Then, in a soft voice, the knight says, "Now, off with your head." And the movie ends here. If you enjoyed the recap, make sure to subscribe and turn on the bell icon.